Hello, beautiful, extraordinary people, and welcome to another episode of Touchful Podcast. I'm taking a deep breath in with hope that the quality of this audio will be okay, because I am recording in a totally different circumstances than normally. I don't have my super good microphone, but still I am doing everything in my power to make sure that it will be pleasant to listen to in terms of quality of the sound. So I hope it is. And today's episode is a short one and a sweet one and a very powerful one. I want to share with you one practice that I have been testing over the last weeks, and it is a practice of creating miracles. But before I get to that, I want to welcome you. I want to connect my heart to yours. So I'm putting my hand on my heart right now, taking a breath, and feeling that you are there on the other side, and that we are connected in this very moment. And I invite you to do the same. And I want to express my gratitude that you choose to spend a moment of your life with me. I hope that this time will be transformational for both of us. And now let's move to the practice that I want to share with you, a practice of creating miracles. Like I said, it's something that I discovered, I'm doing air quote right now, by accident a couple of weeks ago, and I've been testing it ever since. This practice, like many things that I share with you, is a very, very simple one, an extremely simple one. And I feel that this is the first kind of like danger, I'm doing air quote here again, danger of simple practices, that sometimes it's so difficult for us to believe that this works, that it cannot work if it's that simple. That I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel it in myself, that there is this little human in me that just really believes that something has to be very complicated, that it needs to take a lot of effort, that it needs to be hard to achieve, that it needs to be very expensive, that it needs to be blood and sweat and tears, and then maybe then it will work. And there are definitely some practices that are like this, and they work as well. But many of things that I do in my life to improve the quality of my life, to open my heart to love, to feel more love through my open heart, to have simple and extraordinary life, many of these things are really, really very simple. And I remember, like some time ago, I was thinking what kind of life I would like to have. I even wrote it down, and I wrote it down more than once from different angles, and I would journal about it on many occasions, on many days, and I still do it. I ask myself, okay, what kind of life I want to have? What kind of life is my dream life, my best life? What kind of life that I can live right now? And among many other things that would come repeatedly, one of them is that I want to live a life that is full of miracles. I want to live a miraculous life, a life that feels extraordinary in a sense that it feels so beautiful, so good, that I almost cannot believe it, that it feels like a miracle. And that would come repeatedly, a life that touches me so deeply, that moves me to tears, a miraculous life, a beautiful life. And that's how I invented this practice. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I didn't invent it. I don't think it's something entirely new, because it is a practice based on couple of things. It is a practice based on gratitude. It is a practice based on the principle that the world is what you think it is. And it is a practice based on the power of your choice. I called this practice, "This is a miracle." This is a miracle. So I thought to myself, okay, if I want life that is full of miracles, then first of all, what is a miracle? So I even checked the dictionary definition before recording this episode, and a miracle is some sort of an extraordinary event that very often cannot be explained by logic, and it is a very beneficial event, a supportive event. Sometimes it is an event that is connected with some divine powers, something beautiful, amazing, unexpected, something that defies logic, something that is hard to believe in. And then I started to think, okay, how can I have that? How can I experience that? How can I create that? And it turned out to be much easier than I would expect, because I just assumed that I can decide if something is a miracle or not. It is my perception that creates a miracle. If I see something as ordinary, as something that is not worth my care, something that is not worth my gratitude, something that I take for granted, that I definitely will not see it as a miracle. But through the power of my choice, through the power of my intention, through the power of my heart, I can choose to see exactly the same thing through the lens of, this is extraordinary, this is a blessing, this is a miracle. I'm going to give you examples, lots of examples, because I've been testing this so much over the last weeks and especially over the last days. You can look around where you are right now, and you can just assume that this is something ordinary, that it's something that you take for granted, and then you don't notice the miracle. The miracle is not even there. It's not that you don't notice it, the miracle is not even there. But if you decide to feel that this moment is extraordinary, then you are creating a miracle out of it. So the magic spell, the magic mantra, the magic formula for me that creates miracles in my life, it always works, is simply reminding myself with clarity, with conviction, with presence, with awareness that this is a miracle. Sometimes what I do, if I want to connect to the energy of a miracle, is I just take a breath. And I say to myself, this is a miracle. This breath, the fact that I am breathing right now, is a miracle. And I create the miracle out of it simply by deciding that this is a miracle. I don't wait for outside circumstances, for other people, for the world to tell me that something is magical, that, oh my God, this is a miracle. I can choose what is a miracle and what is not. And I can decide that me taking a breath is a miracle. I don't know if you're aware what happens in our body when we take a breath. All the chemical reactions that happen, all the biological changes in our body, hundreds of thousands, millions of tiny little events happening inside us, in our universe, just with one simple breath. Millions and millions of cells getting oxygen, and I don't even know how it happens, and I don't even need to control it. And to me, this is a miracle. I decide that this is a miracle. And like I told you, this practice is extremely simple, and you might be even disappointed a little bit right now. I wonder if you are. Maybe you clicked on this episode and started to listen to it with some expectation of some magic formula, and here is this lady telling you right now that your breath is a miracle and you can take everything and turn it into a miracle, and you are like, what is this? I wanted some magic. And maybe you're thinking like this right now, and this is beautiful, and this is okay, and I love you, and I still invite you to stay with me. Or maybe you're having some epiphany right now that, wow, this is actually true. I can choose. I can create miracles. I can decide. The other day, I was helping my dad to build a shed. I am in Poland right now, where I come from, and whenever I'm here, I always spend some time with my parents and I help them. And yesterday was this day when I was kind of like, I don't know, tired and resentful a little bit, and I had a feeling that I still had so many things to do at home, with my business and with some other things, and yet I was helping my dad to build a shed, and then I just looked around, look at my dad, who's 70, look at myself at this moment. There was my mom somewhere in the background watering the tomatoes, and I remembered, I recognized, this is a miracle. This moment is a miracle. Me with my dad, beautiful weather, sun, me showing love to my dad by helping him, by doing something with him, by doing something together, by creating a memory together. This is a miracle. Shortly before that, I was sitting in a train, and I was like daydreaming and thinking about all kinds of things, and then suddenly I woke up. I looked around, I looked through the window, and I said to myself, this is a miracle. And what I love about this practice, among any other things, among the fact that this practice creates miracles, is that this simple mantra is like a wake-up call. So whenever I feel that I am sleeping in this life, whenever I feel that I am not fully present, this sentence, this mantra, brings me back here, brings me back to life. This is a miracle. It connects me to the beauty of life and to the fact that life itself is a miracle, that I am a miracle, that this moment is a miracle. And the thing is that this moment will be whatever you want it to be. This is the power of your choice, the greatest, the ultimate power in a whole universe, the power of your choice. And you can choose that this moment is dull and ordinary. Probably you're aware of that, probably you experience that. I think we all experience that when we take things for granted. And it's normal, and it's just a function of our brain, of our mind, to just take things for granted. But very often people say, and I said it myself so many times, that I only appreciated something when I lost it. I remember one of my Lomi clients, she had a really bad knee injury over a year ago, and she would be very diligent in taking care of her knee and rehabilitation, and coming for Lomi sessions with me, and really taking care of that knee. But still, that knee would heal very slow, because that's how much it takes for the knee to heal. And every time she would come, we would have a little bit of talk about the knee and how it's healing and how she feels. And that was one of the things that she would repeat so very often, that you don't even realize how amazing thing a knee, a working knee, a healthy knee is, until you cannot use it properly anymore, until you are suddenly limited everywhere. And to have a knee, to have beautiful, healthy knees is a miracle. And also to have a knee that is healing, every moment of healing is a miracle. There is a trap in this practice, though, in this formula for miracles. And it is also the trap that can be often found in the gratitude practices, that sometimes we have this tendency to almost like guilt trip ourselves. That, okay, this is a miracle, so I should be grateful and I should not be complaining that, that my knee hurts because it is a miracle. Or sometimes we fall into this trap of gratitude that, okay, I should be grateful that I have roof over my head because some people don't have roof over their head. And this is a dead end. There is no light in that tunnel. So whenever you feel that you are falling down that path, just stop. Just choose not to go there. There is nothing noble about feeling guilty. So instead of using this practice of creating miracles, instead of using it to guilt trip yourself that you shouldn't want more, or you should be so grateful because you're surrounded by miracles, but deep inside you don't feel it, I invite you to take this practice lightly, to play with it, to have fun with it, and to let it transform you. This is one of my most favorite sentences that I repeat to myself recently. Let this transform me. Whatever it is, let this transform me. And I feel that this practice of creating miracles really transforms me, in a sense that I become more tender, I become softer, I become gentler with myself, I become more aware, I become more present. And sometimes what I do is I don't even look around to find a miracle, but I just close my eyes and I say to myself, this is a miracle. And then I wait what comes, what kind of miracle shows up. And actually, I want to do it right now with you. So my eyes are closed right now. I'm taking a breath. If you want to, you can put your hand over your heart. This gesture itself creates miracles. This gesture itself is magical. And I take a breath in and out, and I say to myself, this is a miracle. And what comes up is my heartbeat. First, my heart is a miracle. This is a miracle. And somehow what comes up is just now the image of me sitting here in my old family house, recording this episode for you. I'm sitting in my old room. It was my room when I was a teenager, when I was a little girl, a teenager. And I feel that this is a miracle. Being able to sit here again after all these years and feeling the path that I walked. And then again I can take a breath and say to myself, this is a miracle. And it is a matter of my choice. It is a matter of my perception. So I'm going to invite you for an experiment. Today, just today, create miracles. Don't wait for anything amazing to happen, but decide that this moment is amazing. That you having a cup of coffee in the morning is amazing, and in fact it is a miracle. Don't wait for the miracle to appear, but create a miracle. Decide that you taking a bus to work, or biking, or driving a car, or walking, or whatever you do, that this is a miracle. And it is because you see it like this, because you say so, because you decide so. Nobody else needs to come and say, yes, you are right, this is a miracle, or no, you are not right, this is not a miracle. It is a matter of your choice. It is a matter of your perception. And you don't even need to find a good explanation that a cup of coffee, or the birds that you hear outside your window, or your children playing with their toys in the morning, or a little flower that you see on the grass. You don't need to find an explanation why this is a miracle. Remember the definition of a miracle? It is something that defies logic, that cannot be logically explained. You don't need to find an explanation why this is a miracle. You just decide that it is. You see it like this in your life, that this is a miracle. The message that you just received from somebody, or the sentence that you just read in a book, whatever you want, play with it. Play with the power of your choice. Play with the power of creating miracles with this one simple mantra. This is a miracle. I want to give you at least one more example. And it is about my parents, as I am staying in my parents' house right now. For the last couple of years, I've been trying to teach my parents hugging. Not how to hug, but to create this habit in our family that we hug. This habit of hugging each other. It was never a big thing in my family. We were not huggers, until only a couple of years back, when I just started to hug my parents without waiting for them to do that for me, but I just started to hug them. And the other day I was just walking downstairs, and at the same time my mom was walking upstairs, so we just kind of like bumped into each other, and it was the first moment of the day when we saw each other. So it was early in the morning, and we bumped into each other. And the first thing that my mom did when she saw me is she opened her arms to hug me. And at that moment I thought to myself, this is a miracle. And I could completely ignore that. I could skip that. I could take that for granted. And so very often I do. I probably take 99% of things in my life for granted. But this 1%, this is the area of magic in my life. And the more I see this, the more I see things in my life as miracles, the more I repeat it to myself. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. Me waking up in the morning is a miracle. Me having breakfast with my parents is a miracle. Me being able to go somewhere and do something is a miracle, however big or small it is. The more I practice this in my life, the more miracles come. And some of them are really big, really amazing, really grand, really transformational. And I invite you to try this, especially if it sounds offensively simple to you. I sometimes feel that the simpler the practice, the more powerful it is, and really the more time it takes to really master it. I feel that one of the simplest practices is this taking a breath and feeling that this is a miracle. To feel that I am a miracle, to feel that my life is a miracle, to feel that your life is a miracle. Do you have any idea what were the chances for you to be alive? Close to zero. There is this whole beautiful episode that I did. I think the title of it is A Rare Gift. And it's exactly about this. Just the very fact that you exist is almost, like the chances of it were almost zero, and yet you are here. So you are a miracle. You appeared in this world as a miracle. Somehow I feel that just by the very fact that you are a miracle, you have the power of creating miracles, seeing miracles, surrounding yourself with miracles, choosing to live life full of miracles, even if your miracle is a cup of coffee in the morning or a cup of cacao. A miracle is a miracle, and you choose what it is. And I'm going to stop here, to pause here, to give you time to practice seeing miracles. And I put my hand on my heart right now, over my heart, take a breath. And I feel that this is a miracle. This moment. And one last thing that I want to say is that remember that it is a practice. So like every practice, we want to practice it, we want to exercise it. So you might try it and you might not feel it. You might say to yourself, oh, this is a miracle, and you don't feel anything. I still invite you to practice it, just like you would practice, this always the same example, but it's really a good one. Just like you would practice going to the gym, and sometimes or always you don't see some tremendous result after 5 minutes or even after one day, but things are happening, changes are happening in your body from the minute one in the gym. When you start exercising, changes in your body are already happening, even if you don't see them yet. And it's the same with any other practice, whatever you do, whether it's practice of gratitude, whether it's practice of miracles, whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work, spending time in nature, journaling, whatever you want to do. Changes are already happening from minute one when you start doing it. It's just time needs to pass for you to be able sometimes to see those changes. So if you would like to try this practice of creating miracles, but you don't see the results right away, I wholeheartedly invite you and encourage you to carry on. I myself was really surprised how this practice works and how it changes my life, how much calmer I feel, safer, more connected, more belonging to this world, more belonging to this life because of this practice. And I've been only doing it for a couple of weeks. Okay, I love you dearly. Thank you so much for choosing to spend a moment of your life with me. It is a miracle and it is a blessing, and thank you for you. I have you in my heart. I wish you a beautiful day or a beautiful evening, depending on when you listen to this. And I will talk to you sometime soon again. Aloha and bye-bye.